She in what 3 plays in a row before the half got done. Miss, block, turnover. She didn't even miss. She turned it over and got blocked and allowed the other team to go score
against the best team in the nation that went undefeated.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody would have had.
You supposed to you ain't supposed to do that to close out the first half.
She still dropped.
You
30.
up by 4, and all of a sudden you
30.
down when you go into the second half.
She still dropped 30.
I mean, I feel you. She was smart. She go play for the big 3.
I'll get that money. You live on all?
Yeah, I'm just talking shit now. I don't. What up, everybody? How's it going? So, you know how I start this out. I always talk about what I'm grateful for. I'm just grateful for life. I'm grateful for the support system. I'm grateful for everybody in my life. Plain and simple. I'm grateful to be alive. I keep it really simple. So whatever you're grateful for, comment, chime in. I don't have anything specific or spectacular that I'm grateful for. I'm just grateful for life and everything that I have in it. So we're just gonna keep that moving. So the topics I wanted to talk about today is still off winning. I wanted to piggyback and go back to what we talked about last week a little bit, especially after, a couple more fight camp days. But I also wanted to go into how people view winning in a relationship. So this is something that seems to be coming up a lot, and something that I struggled with is winning in a relationship. And I think I touched down on it before about, what are your goals in the relationship? So, with some things that happened this weekend, I chewed out some of my fighters this weekend because the energy they were bringing right off the bat wasn't a winning mentality. Now, I get it. We've all been there where you're dead tired. You've been training 6 days, 7 days in a row, and you're about to go into a dogfight, and you may not kick it in gear. And I get that, but it was their demeanor afterwards that I really had a problem with. And so after digging into them a little bit, they woke up, right? They came back alive. And I even put on the gloves and went against one of our heavyweights, and Peace just started wrecking him with kicks and threw a kick to his head, and it woke him up. He started firing back and got him going, and then for the rest of the rounds he was good to go. And what I really want to talk about is whenever you're doing something, you're going to want to have that winner's mentality, right? Whatever it is, because not every day are you going to want to go to work. Not every day you're going to want to work out. So you need that winning mentality right here. You gotta know what you're working for and really go after it. And you don't have time to be in victim mode because you messed up. You don't have time to really be like, oh, woe is me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. You just gotta analyze what's going on, figure it out, and then go forth and really try to push through. And that's what you're really looking for. And as I see people tuning in and whatnot, what does winning mean to you? How would you describe winning, right? How would you describe winning in your life? Whether it's winning at work, winning in your relationship, winning in life. What words would you use to describe winning, right? What does it mean to you? When I think of winning, I think of sacrifice. I think of pain. I think of hard work. I think about, that pretty much covers it. I think about sacrifice, how much time I'm going to have to sacrifice, how much of my body am I going to have to sacrifice, how much of my mind. I think about it's gonna be hard all the time. Getting over a personal barrier or roadblock. Aaron, thank you for sharing. That's dope. Why do you look at it like a personal barrier or roadblock? I like the answer. I love the answer. I just want to make sure that I understand your meaning for that. So, a roadblock or a barrier for a description of winning, yeah, for sure. I know some other people word it as in something really positive sounding, and even my fighters did that, and that's great. But when you think about the work you had to put forth to win, when you think about the sacrifices you had to make to win, when you think about all the things you had to do in order to win, there's usually nothing super positive from it that you can describe. It was hard. It cost you everything. It was difficult. Challenging myself to push past something that mentally holds me back. Aaron, you know what? Thank you so much for that. That's super dope. I thought that's what you meant. That's beautiful to hear. So Aaron said getting over a personal barrier and roadblock is her description of winning, right? Or that's what winning means to her. Challenging herself to push past something that mentally holds her back. That's it, right? When you're pushing past something that's hard, you're gonna break through some walls there. You're gonna push past some limitations that you had in your life. And that's why winning is so hard, because you have to push past it to even have a chance at it. And there's not a guarantee you're going to get it. And then even if you get it, you're going to have to raise the bar to the next level, because most of what holds me back is mental. That's most everybody, because even if you have physical limitations, right? It's your mind that breaks first, because your mind is recognizing that pain of what you're doing. You can choose to go past that. You can will yourself to go past that. But a lot of people don't do that. And that's the tough part. So really trying to get people to understand that you got to want to win. Whatever you're doing, you got to win. You just got to set the parameters in which, and in what way are you trying to win, right? Like, what are you trying to win? And this goes right into what I wanted to talk about a little bit more in depth. I could have every box checked and then imposter syndrome will come from nowhere. Well, Aaron, you're going to keep me from going forward on this topic. Let's go. I could have every box checked and then imposter syndrome will come from nowhere. So I call that the bitch side of your head, right? Where, no, you're good, Aaron. No, don't apologize. We're good. So that other side, right? That other side of your brain that wants to pull you down into what they deem safe is safety. Because every time you push past something, you're causing yourself some kind of pain. You're purposely putting yourself in a harmful situation. Now, for my fighters, they're purposely putting themselves in a situation where they're going to get kicked, punched, kneed, elbowed, and have to deal with all this. Then there's like the business side where might cost you more time, or it's going to cost you more work. Working out, it's going to cost you pain to build up muscle. It's going to cost you pain to get your cardio up. Whatever the case may be, you're going to go through some pain. So your brain, it doesn't want to do that. Your brain wants to keep you safe. So it's going to give you these thoughts that, hey, you don't have to do this. This isn't you. Come back to earth. And that's where you really have to have the discipline and know this is me. This may not be, and this is the fun part where you get to trick your mind. This is who I am. So I tell people all the time, and my fighters, I'm like, picture who you want to be. Picture the version of you that you want to have step in the ring. What does your technique look like? What does your jab look like, right? What does your cross look like? What is your uppercuts? What is your hooks? What do your kicks look like? Well, the same thing applies to you, Aaron. When you're doing something, what do you want to look like? What do you want that part of you to look like? When it has to do with work, what does that look like? When it has to do with getting in shape, what does that look like? And then you just have to, one, you have to put in the work, but two, you have to talk about it like you're already there, like you're living that life, because then your brain doesn't know the difference, and it's going to help create that, right? So if your goal is to do 20 push-ups, well, man, I'm hitting these 20 push-ups. I'm working hard. And eventually you'll hit them. So it's almost that fake it to make it situation, but you're putting in the work. You're not relying on just talking about it. You're actually building it with the work. And so that's how you start handling that imposter syndrome that you're talking about. And then you could be real blunt with yourself. I tell my fighters this all the time, and this is what I have to do, to be honest with you, is the moment that part starts talking to me, I tell it to fuck off. To be plain and simple, fuck off. Like, I'm not hearing you right now. You don't get a say so in my life right now. Fuck off. And I push it like that. And depending on what I was doing, there's times where I'm doing a farmer's carry. And those of you that aren't familiar, you're carrying something super heavy around. Well, I had 2 dumbbells in my hand and I don't have a great grip anymore. So the dumbbells weren't heavy, but my grip is going. So I'm holding them. And the whole time this voice is saying, oh, you just drop it, just drop it, just drop it. And I'm like, you wouldn't drop your kid. I literally said this in the gym. I'm like, I can't drop this. I'm not going to drop my kids. I would not drop my kids off a cliff. So I can't drop this. So I had to put my mind in a fucked up scenario where my kids are in my hand and I'm carrying them and I can't drop this. Right. It can hurt. It can cause me pain. It could do all this, but no, I'm not dropping this. And that's how you start to fight that what you call the imposter syndrome. It's just, everybody's got it, that whether you want to call it the devil side of you, a demon side of you, you want to call it the bitch side of you, the weaker part of you. All it is it's trying to give you instant gratification, to be happy, and to keep you safe, right? That's the goal, keep you safe. And you got to tell that side to fuck off. Like, I'm finishing this, I'm doing this. So does that make sense, Aaron? Hopefully that helps you. And so if y'all, what does meaning mean to you, right? How would you define winning to yourself? Like, how would you describe that? I'm very curious. I want more answers. And as I go into relationships about this is something that I never understood for myself. And now I definitely don't understand why people aren't doing more of this. So you have one side of the group that's like, oh, men have to lead, men have to do this, women have to do this, women have to do this, and doing all this, and saying, well, women should let the man lead and do all this, and men should be great leaders, and men should do this. And I agree with that. But when it starts getting broken down, it's like the woman should shut the hell up, the woman should do this. And it's like, I don't know about all that all the time. And when you study our history, when you look at probably one of the strongest societies as far as military, as far as physical strength, as far as what they were able to accomplish, you look at the Spartans, right? The Spartans they were one of the few societies that had a high number of homosexual interactions amongst the men. But also on top of that, the women were looked upon more as equals. They could work, they could make money, they could do all this. They just couldn't vote because only men were fighting. So men had the option to vote. Women had to be extremely powerful in that civilization. Excuse me. So when you think about it that way, you had these powerful men that had women that were also just as powerful, as far as they could be financially, they could buy land, they had say so. So now you go forward, my question is like, why are people saying winning is so cut and dry in a relationship? Just shut up, let the man talk, let him do all this. And I get it to a certain extent, but it's not just men. It's like, shut up and listen, period. Men should shut up and listen, right? Within a relationship, shut up and listen. Because once you get arguing, What's the goal? What are we winning here? Why do you want to win why do you want to win an argument, right? And what's a common argument that, at least this is something that I hear people complain about all the time when I talk to them, is he's not doing the dishes when I want, or he's not doing the dishes the way I want. He's not taking out the trash when I want. He's not taking the trash out the way I want. She's not giving me enough dome. I think I can say dome, right? Can I say dome?
I think so.
She's not giving me enough dome whenever I want, or we're not sexually, we're not having enough intimacy, right? Thank you for that, right? Well, the issues come down, one, to poor communication, but two, it's because everybody's trying to win. First of all, why do you care how he does the dishes? What are we trying to win right now? Really, what are we trying to do? If you care that much, right, then why aren't you just doing them? Why don't you just do them? Because that matters to you, right? On the flip side, if you don't care how dishes are done, then why aren't you doing it the way she's asking you to? Right? If you want him to take out the trash and I say, yeah, I'll get to it, then you get upset and then you start snapping because you feel a certain way. Now you're trying to win this power struggle, win this power dynamic. Do what I say when I say it. Well, that ain't going to work. You could say, hey, could you please take out the garbage in the next 5 minutes? Cool. Or I could ask, yeah, I'll get to it. Does it need to be right now? That's actually how I do things now. I'm like, if I get asked to do something, it's like, cool. Do you need me to do that right now, or do I have a little time? If I have a little time, then I'm going to do it. But if you're like, no, I would prefer if you get it done right now. All right, cool. Let me go do that. Now it's a partnership. We're both winning, right? When it comes to dome or intimacy, it's like, I don't want to force you to do it, right? And you don't want him to go without. So how are we winning here? We gotta figure that communication out, if that makes sense. It's like so many people are trying to win this power struggle within a relationship. I want to win this. I need to be the greatest. I need to be leading this. I need to say what I want, and this is how it's gonna be, and it's gotta be a dictatorship. Who's winning? Who's winning that? Cool, you get everything you want, and now you're going to have a worse off relationship because nobody's communicating about what needs to happen. And that's craziness to me. That's absolute craziness. And it's stuff that I've had to learn. And it's mind-blowing when you hear these people talk about it. I'm curious what y'all think. Intimacy is emotional for us. If we feel disrespect or unsafe, that switch literally turns off. I feel you. Now let me flip it up a little bit. What if we're not doing anything to disrespect you or make you feel unsafe, but you're just not in the mood? So now those reasons sort of go out the window. They're still valid, right? They're valid in that moment. But if that's not the issue, then where do we go from there? And that's the issue that you see men and women trying to win when it comes to intimacy, especially because a man could say, well, I'm not disrespecting you. I'm doing everything I can to make you feel safe. I'm doing everything I can to be a good man in this relationship, and you're still not wanting that. Right? And men have a harder time to understand that because we do things all the time. A lot of men do things all the time. Oh, Ashley, that's what's up. I'll get to that in a second. So, it's men do a lot of things they don't want to do, regardless, because it needs to get done. And so, especially in a relationship. And I know a lot of women do the same thing. And it's that's why I go back to, what are you trying to win in the relationship? Is winning having a great relationship where she feels emotionally safe, where she feels listened to, when she feels supported, where she feels respected, is winning him feeling respected. He's feeling listened to. He's feeling loved and desired. Like, what's the goals here for winning? And so Ashley says, if I feel safe, regardless of the mood, I'll do what it takes to satisfy him. Aaron, it could be her own mental state. If she doesn't feel confident or is going through depression, it affects all areas of her life. I feel that. You're 100% right. The thing is, and this is one of, and this is where the conversation gets really tricky, right? Because if a man isn't feeling confident and he's going through depression or anxiety and he still gets up and goes to work, he's still taking out the trash, he's still doing the things that you need him to do to lead, he doesn't get to rely on that, right? So, and I've talked about depression and anxiety here before. Yes, there are people have mental issues, and some people have a chemical imbalance, right? But some people are just sad and not really depressed. They're sad. And most people that are going through that sadness or depression are focused on their past. People that start getting suffering from anxiety are too focused on their future. They're letting their fears and their ability of not letting go of the past and their fears of the future destroy them in the present moment. And I've talked about that on this podcast before. And so the thing is that no matter what is winning to you in that relationship? And I don't know if enough people are having that conversation, right? They get in a relationship and they're not having that conversation. They go through that honeymoon phase. I got you. They go through that honeymoon phase when they're just doing it all the time. And then they start to veer off and they're not having those conversations anymore. Like, if you don't have goals within your relationship, then what are you doing? You're just out there just living. No. What is the goal of the relationship? Where are we headed? What are we trying to accomplish? The funny thing for me is I never did that until after I went through a separation and a divorce in my first marriage. Because after that, I was like, I don't want to just sleep around. If I get into a relationship, it's got to be headed towards marriage. Otherwise, I don't want to waste any time with it. I don't want to date. I don't want to do none of that. If we get in a relationship, I'm letting you know right off the jump, this is where I'm going. Because I don't have the time in my life and I don't want to separate myself so much where we're not putting energy into the same thing. Now, marriage can look differently to everyone. It doesn't have to be on paper, right? But there has to be something. So it looks different. But we got to have some goals. We got to know where we're headed to, where we want to go financially, where do we want to go spiritually, where do we want to go emotionally? What does winning look like to you? Right? Because if we start to argue and we're trying to win that argument, there's no peace now. There's absolutely no peace. Some people are high functioning. I was a super mom, but also suffering from postpartum. Yeah. Like, you did a great job at continuing to move forward, right? And continuing to work through it. Now, when I say move forward, I don't say don't take care of yourself. For sure, take care of yourself. For sure, figure out what is going on with you. Journal, work out, do what needs to be done so you can start having a healthy mind. And when you have those conversations within a relationship of figuring out what winning means to you, then you can have a very candid conversation. Relationships should be compromised, not a competition. Peace is very important. I believe it takes for you to go through a divorce and learn from it to think the way you think. I think now you have to go through a divorce a little bit more, or go through some crappy things, depending on if people are having candid conversations with you, right? Back in the day, women would get together as a group and talk amongst women, and men would talk amongst themselves with men. And you would learn from the older people. You would get advice from the older people, and you would realize that the shit you're fighting for isn't that important. Like if you want me to do the dishes a certain way, if you want me to do a chore right now, let's talk about it. Hey, can you take out the garbage right now? I really want it out. Cool. If I could do that, I'll do that. But if I say, yeah, give me 5 minutes, I'm not. Why are you huffing and puffing? You asked me for something, right? I let you know I could do what you asked for in 5 minutes. Now, if the 6 minute hits, you can give me a reminder. Hey, remember you said taking the garbage out in 5 minutes. Cool, I'm on it right now. And if I buck, then you have you can get cranky, you can get upset, whatever. Just watch how you talk to me type of deal. So it's not a dictatorship. And I think people really, I'm gonna get to all that. It's people look at relationships like a dictatorship. And they spend a lot of time, oh, we're equal. No, we're not. We're not. But that doesn't mean my power supersedes your power, and vice versa. Like, you're my woman, I'm your man. Period. What I could bring to the table that helps this relationship should help uplift you, and what you bring to the relationship should help uplift me. And prime example, I know how to use tools. I know I could be a handyman. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. My wife loves it. She loves doing projects in the house. She loves doing that. I don't. So but when we were first together and when we first lived together, I had to let go of my pride, right? I had to let go of that ego. Because when she, like, I remember we started working on the bathroom and putting a new tub in our previous house. And I was like, yeah, we should do it like this, and this, and this, and this. And she didn't want to do it like that. And I instantly I'm like, yo, I'm the man. Like, this is my thing. This is what I'm supposed to do. And it caused some fights that were unnecessary, right? Now when we do projects, I know this is what she loves to do and I don't. So I don't need to take the lead because she loves doing it. She loves doing it. She loves that. And when she's like, I don't know what to do, what do you think? I'll give my input and not be butthurt, right? I won't be in my ego. I won't be in my pride if she doesn't take my ideas, because I look at it as the leader in the relationship. I do believe a man should be a leader. The leader does not always have to lead from the front. A leader's job is to make sure that the mission gets accomplished the best way possible. So if she leads it a certain way, winning to me then dictates we get the project done. So if winning to me is get the project done, right? Then it's like, I don't care if she takes my ideas or not. And if her ideas don't work, why am I going to waste time rubbing her nose in it like, oh, you should have listened to me? No, let's try something different. Or this work, and let's go. So like the way she wanted to do her garden beds, cool. Just tell me what you need. Tell me how you want it done, and cool. I'm gonna make it that way, right? So, and now we're building a fence around the garden bed, right? To make sure, animals stay out. I tore up a deck last summer. She was like, instead of buying wood, let's use this wood. Okay, cool. So like however she wanted to do it, right? But then she wanted to use a circular saw. So yeah, go ahead, do it. I'll hold the boards. On the flip side, she didn't want anything to do with the table saw. So now I'm running lead on that, right? And she's being the holder. Give and take, right? Because winning is getting the project done. Winning isn't about do it my way. Getting rid of that dictatorship and realizing that what do you want to win? Now, when I look back up here, I agree with everything you're saying. Our grandmothers also buried a lot of what? I'm guessing information. But is marriage the real goal? Because what's the goal of the win after that? to make the, like, I know for me, so if the goal was to get married, mainly because I don't want to waste my time trauma. Okay, wait, our grandmothers also buried a lot of trauma. Is that what you mean, Aaron? Now let me go back. But is marriage the real goal? Because what's the goal of the win after that? So for me, I have 2 kids. I have a 19-year-old, well, at the time, a 17-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son, right? Already been married. I'm a very busy individual on top of that. I didn't want to just go around dating and sleeping with people. I've never been the dating type. Like, yeah, we can get, what's the word we use? Intimate. We can be intimate, but if we're not together, we're not together. We're just being intimate, right? I just didn't want to waste a lot of time doing that. I'm 43 now. I was 40 then. Like, I've spent a good portion of my life doing that. I don't want to do that, right? And I knew if I got in a relationship, it's got to be serious, right? I'm not just gonna date you. With my wife, it started out, we were friendly. She flirted, I responded back. It sort of grew from there, right? Off the jump, she said she didn't know if she wanted a relationship. I said, well, I'll rock with it as long as I can. But it didn't take long for me to say, hey, either we need to stop what we're doing, or it needs to be exclusive, and we need to start moving in that direction. Now, there's nothing wrong for me saying that. And there's nothing wrong if she decided that she didn't want something serious. We could have just deaded it right there, right? But we didn't. We got serious. So the goal was obviously for me to get married. Otherwise, why are we taking what? I'm wasting time, basically. The goal after marriage then, right? The winning after marriage is, how can we have the best marriage possible today, tomorrow, and 50 years from now? So knowing that allows me to constantly learn how to be a better man, how to lead better, how to not lead as a quote unquote dictator, thinking that my way is the best way. It's realizing that, okay, within winning in our marriage, we need a whole bunch of other wins, right? If winning the championship is being married and until one of us passes away, right? Till death does us part. If that's the goal, right? If that's winning the championship, then we're going to have to put in a lot of work and win win little things, right? Because you don't win an NBA title unless you make it to the playoffs. You can't win a championship unless you make it to the playoffs in most aspects. You can't win a fighting championship unless you go through the ranks, right? So you need a whole bunch of other wins before you get that big win. So everything is winning in the relationship, but it's not winning like I have to win. If I'm the only one winning in the relationship is probably going to fail, right? Because I'm the only one winning. The goal is for us both to win. So if we are both going to win, I am going to have to give a lot. I'm going to have to give 100% of me, which means that I have to shut up sometimes and I have to listen. I have to step back sometimes and let her step up front, right? I'm going to have to communicate some things. So winning, yeah, it's a partnership, but don't get it twisted. It's not an equal partnership. And this took me a little bit to get, we got a troll in here.
Give some love to a pair.
Who I can't see the name. Mind of
Mac.
Is it just Mac? Here, scroll down a little bit. The whole name is going to be
Mind of Macintosh.
Man, Mind of Macintosh. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We love those diamonds. My goal is to get, first of all, let me say one of my goals for this is in one of these live episodes to have 10,000 likes. I want to be able to shut this down one day, shut off an episode, and we got 10,000 likes. But Mind of Macintosh, I appreciate you very much. American Russian. A woman should know her place. We'll get to that. Hey, better yet, while I'm still talking, what's her place? A woman should know her place. What's her place? I love it when people say that. A woman should know her place. Well, please tell me her place, right? Tell me her place. What's her place to you? We'll find out if you're a troll or not. See if you're willing to say something or if you just popped in, right? So, what was I saying? What was I talking about? Oh, it's a partnership. Yes, it's a partnership, but not an equal partnership. Now, see, the thing is that to me, a 50-50 partnership never works. Because in business, right? When you think of a 50-50 partnership in business, when you have a disagreement, who's taking the lead? Who gets final say? There's got to be somebody. You either got to have an odd number of partners, right? Or someone's got to have a little more juice to make that call at the end of the day. Well, a lot of times, my wife, like when it comes to the house, especially, my wife has got the juice, as I would call it. She's got the juice. So if you think about when everybody tells Mekhi Phifer he's got the juice, my wife has got the juice at home. She's got the juice. She's running the show. So my job is then to best support that, right? Because she's running the show at home, her home. If she wants it to be colored a certain way, Mind of Macintosh, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, thank you. When my wife says, "Hey, I want to paint it this color. What do you think?" Yeah, show me the colors. I don't really care. But if she's stuck between colors, one, I'll pay attention to how she's describing the colors. And I'm going to be like, well, it sounds like you want this color. Well, I don't really care. What do you think? Okay. And then I'll give her my opinion. And then I don't care if she goes with it or not. Right? Now on the flip side, though, because I don't really say anything. I'm usually cool. So I just talked about how we're finishing up the garden beds, right? She's got stuff planted already. We're going to finish the fence. Where the deck was, we're putting in a new patio. And she decided she was going to her and her sister tore the carpet out of what we call the mud room, right? And so, okay, I'm going to get to that American Russian. Okay.
And I got another question from Charlie Brown on Facebook too.
Okay.
He says, what's up?
Oh, Charlie, what's up? He just died at the gym. Well, wait, does it say Charlie Brown or
It says Charlie Brown.
Okay, because he was just him and his brother both were both at the job. Jamie, what's up? So let me finish this. So we're finishing up the fence around the garden bed. Then we got to finish the patio or do the patio. And then for our mud room, like that's like the room when you first come in from the front door. It's like this room where you can hang your coat. All this is pretty decent sized room. Well, her and her sister tore up the carpet because she wants to put tiles down there, right? So, but now she wants to put these the shelving in the walls. I don't remember the name of it. And I said, that sounds amazing. And she told me the description. She's like, yeah, I want to do this. I'm like, cool. But you're not doing this project until we get the other projects done. So I rarely take I rarely take the 51% in the house. But I was like, no, we're not taking on that. We're not tackling another project. Not right now. We're going to finish. Let's finish these 3 projects. Then start on this one. And because I sit back, I give my opinion and I don't get upset if it's not used, because the house, to me, she runs the house, right? She's running the show within reason. Now, when I say something like that, she'll be like, well, she might ask why. And it's like, well, because if we start another project, now which project do we finish first? It's like we're getting pulled in too many directions. Let's not do that. Let's stay focused. We finish the fence. Boom. That's a weekend. Done. Let's work on the patio. That's like a few weeks. Boom, that's done. And if it rains or if you have crappy weather, then we can tile and just put down the tile, and that's simple. So it's like we get these projects done now. Now it's no big deal if we don't get to the shelving this summer. That could be a winter project, you know what I mean? So it's just taking that. So American Rusher says a woman should know her place. I said, what's that place? Her role, for instance, she shouldn't be working grunt jobs. Her role is fundamentally to nurture. So that goes into, I want to know what you mean by grunt jobs. Do you mean like construction work? Like being a construction worker, truck driver, working in a warehouse? Like, what do you mean? And that goes into what I was just talking about. My wife loves building things and doing and fixing things and working with tools and power tools. That would be a grunt job, I guess most people would say. So I'm curious on if that used to bug me. I'm not going to front, because I had this idea in my head that it's like, well, if we're working with tools and we're putting in a new bathtub, or we're doing this hard labor, this construction work, that should fall into my realm. But I don't like doing it. And because she likes doing it, there's less mistakes made, right? So I play my role. I lift heavy things. I can do a lot of things. I can reach higher. There's certain things I can do. And then because I do have knowledge, I do know how to do this, I can now provide some secondary ideas, some different ideas how to do stuff. And because she gives you the hard task and bosses you around. The thing is, I don't look at it. I can see why it sounds like that. It sounds like she enjoys it because she gives you the hard task and bosses you around. I don't look at it like she's bossing me around, though, because I always have a choice. It goes back to the original, that, you know what? Within reason. So what you're speaking on, I'm not going to say it's 100% false, right? So it's how she speaks to me. So if she came at me with a tone that was bossing me the hell around, I'm like, I would say, hey, watch your tone. You're talking at me right now and not talking to me. So to me, that's clear communication, right? I don't want to be talked at. I want, if we're going to talk, you're going to have clear communication. So don't talk at me. Let's talk together, right? And so that could happen in frustration, but like just Saturday, she wanted to use the table saw once. So she's doing it and she's very scared of the table saw, right? And valid. It's a dangerous tool. But it's also hard to use when you got big old boards. And even if I'm holding the other end, you're sort of the navigator too, pushing it through. And that was a struggle for her. And I could see her get frustrated, and she kept it together, and she didn't raise her voice. She didn't do any of that. And we had a conversation. She was like, she just said it was very frustrating because it felt like you were pulling the board away. And I'm like, nope, I was just guiding it. But thank you for not yelling. Thank you. Like, because we have communicated about that before, because she understands if she raises her voice or changes her tone in a certain way, I'm going to naturally react to that, right? And I've also learned not to react to that because she's allowed to be emotional, because that's where she'll feel the safest. If she overreacts and gets emotional, it's my job to stay calm, because I'm not afraid in that situation. When men react a certain way, they're still dealing with some past trauma, or they're reacting like they're afraid, right? I'm not afraid of my wife raising her voice or doing something. I may tell her, watch your tone, don't talk to me like that, but I'm not afraid. So I'm not going to jump out the gate and overreact to it. It's my job to stay calm. That's part of being a leader, is staying calm in those situations. When the situation is starting to escalate, I stay calm, and that's winning. right? It always goes back to winning. We will win in our marriage if I stay calm, even when she's freaking out, right? So no, I don't look at it as she's bossing me around. We're building something. So if I'm taking the harder jobs, like, do you not see how I'm built? Like, yeah, if you give me the jobs where it requires me to do harder labor and lift, yeah, that makes sense. Put me to work. Let's get it done. But there's no boss, right? It's a partnership. It's just not always 50-50. If we're taking on a project that she really wants to do, she's got 51, especially in the house. Now, if it's at the gym, if it's at my gym, it's a different story now. I now take her opinion, but I get final say-so on that because that's my business. It's our business, but it's my baby, right? Well, at home, it's the same thing, right? So,
I got one from Charlie Brown here.
Yeah.
He
Is
says,
this from Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, from Facebook.
Are any of you in a spiritual relationship with your higher power?
So he's saying,
thoughts.
Yeah. So what he's talking about is do you have a personal relationship with God? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Do you have a personal relationship with God? And are you allowing God into your relationship? So I don't know about the people on TikTok. They can comment on that, and anybody on Facebook or YouTube that's watching, I know for me, I talk to God on a daily basis, multiple times. And so I would say unconventional. It's unconventional as far as society now, because I'm not a church going man. I've read the Bible multiple times. I've studied the Quran. So it's like my viewpoint on religion is probably more on, I just have my own personal relationship with God. I talk to God all the time. And when I have an issue, I'll talk to God. And I usually get the answers. And the answers aren't always what I want. And that's the beauty of it, right? And so that's where I've grown a lot. So I know for me personally, I would say yes on that one. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Yep.
Or up? I'm sorry. So wait a minute. I want to go back to if it was vice versa, she would hate it. Yeah, I'm not gonna front. But I make that into a joke. But that's also how she's learned not to take a tone with me, because I've said that. I've said, hey, if I take that tone or if I talk to you the same way, you're not gonna like that. You're gonna react poorly to that. So let's dial it back, talk to me. And that's my job. First of all, I'm older. I've been married before. That's my job to lead right there. And then love her anyway. She's a hothead. She's going to go 0 to 10 real quick. Not to quote Drake, but it's my job as a leader. I should always remain calm. Just like if someone broke in the house, I'm remaining calm. If there's a fire, I'm remaining calm. I'm gonna handle that situation, and I'm gonna be calm while I handle it. And that is the difference right now in our society when it comes to winning. Men want to argue to be right sometimes. Women want to argue to be right sometimes. Why, as men, are we getting emotional? Why are we looking at it so in depth? Just calm down. Winning is making the relationship better. If you're with someone that is not listening to you, and it feels like they're better yet, I don't want to do feeling. If they're bossing you around because they're talking at you and you're not speaking up for yourself, that's an issue. If you are speaking up for yourself and nothing is changing, and if you're not going to counseling, you're not doing any of that, or if it's not working, then maybe that relationship is not for you. Because there's some breakdown of respect going on. My wife respects me, right? So if I feel disrespected, one, it's a feeling in that moment, right? It's a feeling in that moment, because overall, I believe she respects me. I believe she respects me. And further, and even more importantly, I respect myself. So if I feel disrespected in that moment, I can let her know I am disrespected in that moment, but it's all about how I present it, right? I'm not going to attack her. I'm not going to verbally raise my voice. I'm going to talk to her as calm as can be. And I may not even talk to her in that moment. I may let it ride so I can process and calm down so I can then have that conversation, right? So, like, there's times my wife will take a tone with me and I let her know that's not cool. And she's later come to apologize because she needed to process, right? So it's about, yeah, I agree. A relationship without a foundation of faith is extremely volatile. Agree, yeah. So, but I'm never dealing with a boss. My wife is just leading in those realms, and I'm okay with that. My wife is, and that's winning to me. You have to decide what's winning to all of you in your relationship. Can you go back?
Go up.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Because I know I missed some things, and I see. And thank you for everybody that's tuning in, commenting. I appreciate you so much. He's speaking from a place of ego. Is she talking about American Russian?
Yeah.
See, I don't know I don't know if American Russian is male, female. I don't know, but I don't believe they're talking from a place of ego. I would say it sounds like they're speaking from an aspect of facts. Like let's not get it twisted here. If a woman says, "Hey, take out the trash," right? That's technically she's bossing you. She could have asked. But the problem is if I don't let her know that I don't want to be spoken to like that. Now, if I care, right? Hey, go take out the trash. If I care about how that's coming across in my own mind, it's imperative that I say something, but I have to word it in a calm manner so I can present it with logic and not to all these emotions. I might have to give it to her in a way she can understand. And let me see, how would I say that? I would say, when I'm told to do something and not asked to do something, I feel like I'm being spoken to by my mom, and I'm not okay with that. I didn't even accuse that person of doing anything. I talked about my feelings on it and how I view this, right? Now it's on them, right? And that's where the dialogue, but I'm teaching. You see how that works? I'm schooling in that aspect, because now I'm letting it be known that I don't want to be talked to like that. I'm also letting it be known that we can communicate like this and we can grow. So that's where male speaking from. Yeah. And my ex-wife, she's apologized for the way she spoke to me. My current wife has apologized for the way she has spoken to me, because sometimes she loses her cool. Like we had a moment at the gym where she lost her cool and her tone changed. And I let her know I wasn't okay with that. But I didn't snap out. I didn't lose my shit. I didn't wild out. And if she didn't if she would have responded poorly to that, I still don't wild out. If I never got an apology for it, that's now a deeper seated issue, right? Because now the respect factor isn't there. And I refuse to be with someone that doesn't respect me, because I respect myself. So a lot of that comes into play. And I don't think I don't think humans respect themselves enough. They're not honest with themselves, right? They'll see something wrong with themselves and refuse to change it. So, and you're definitely not going to respect yourself then. It comes off as if he wants someone to dominate. I don't see to me, this is, unless I miss something, and Corey, you can let me know if I'm missing something in the comment. To me, I am literally seeing in just the comments, two people that have been hurt having a conversation only focused on their own perspective and their own point of view. It sounds like he wants to be dominate. Well, he just said the same thing about that situation with my wife. It sounds like she wants to be the boss. It's a partnership, but sometimes somebody is going to lead, and we need that, right? My wife will tell you straight up, she makes the decisions when it comes to the house. Let someone break in. She's shutting up and I make all the calls. Let there be a fire. She's shutting up and I'm making all the calls. Let there be some tragic thing that happens in the world and we got to get out. She shuts up and it's my call. Right? That's okay. She's my wife. She does a better job. Oh man, what's happening? Oh, we're good now, right? Yeah, we're still good.
Yeah, it looks like it's still going.
Okay. So
check on here.
So she runs a house. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. Sometimes, like, I am a dominant man, but I'm not trying to overpower her. That's not my job. My job isn't to overpower her. Our job is to give to each other 100% of ourselves and win in our marriage, right? And so it's hard to look at things from someone else's point of view. But when you do that within a relationship, it gives you power and you're winning in that relationship. Of course I want to see things from her perspective and her point of view. Cool. If we have two different, shouldn't the man have leverage over the woman? What do you mean? I'm interested to see what you mean by that.
It sounds like a power struggle.
Yeah, which you see, and how did I start this off? Where you see a lot of these conversations now, where you're fighting for power. You're never going to win that. There's nothing to win in that, because even if you win in the power, you lose everywhere else.
Seems counterproductive.
Yeah. So I'm curious when you say leverage over the woman. I am very interested in seeing what you mean by that.
To me, that the phrasing of that already incites a lack of balance.
So like that's
the way you just presented that.
Yep.
Says that you're not looking for that. It's almost like you're looking for more.
Yeah. And so that's some of the issue that I have when you listen to these podcasts sometimes, when you hear Fresh and Fit or when you hear Andrew Tate. Now the cool thing is when you actually listen to Andrew Tate in full spectrum, he just chooses some harsh language sometimes because he talks about how men should be calm. Men should be an emotional safe place for women. She must sign the prenuptial agreement or no marriage. So if you have money, if you have money, that much money coming into it, where, the cool thing is I could have done that with my wife. She was like, if you want a prenup, we could do a prenup, because she understood that I didn't want to lose the gym if we got divorced. But I was like, I didn't do it.
Got to be open if a woman's coming to the relationship.
Yeah, for sure. And okay, exactly. So if your woman comes in with millions of dollars or comes in with her own money and she's like, I want you to sign this prenup, are you on board for that? Right? So because I know it doesn't happen often, but it's starting to happen more often, right? So but what leverage does that give me over a woman? That doesn't give me leverage over a woman. It gives me leverage over my own personal assets that I brought to the table. That doesn't give me leverage over a woman, though. It's never in any religious book that I've ever read does it say you should have leverage over your woman. right? Even when it talks about her being submission and submitting to her man, the man is also supposed to listen and follow her guidance as well. So that's important. That's extremely important. We are a team. Sometimes I need her to be Jordan, and sometimes I need to be Jordan. It just depends on the situation. And that's where you got to know your partner. Who is better at what? I'll be honest with you. My wife is a mastermind when it comes to stocks, finances, and all this stuff. Great. Let me learn from you on some parts. I'm better at communicating. I'm better at defending our home, right? I'm stronger, so I'm better at doing like heavy lifting. Like, she's better at cooking. I like doing the dishes. She likes doing the laundry. You see where I'm going with this? If she's dominant, then it becomes a trust issue. Man, you're speaking from a lot of hurt. If I would word it, if she's dominant in a relationship, then she is afraid. She is now working off fear, right? She's working off fear. And so I've been honest about my ex-wife. And she would say this, like, I would tell her, I'm like, the issues from father issues or daddy issues or dealing with other men are making it so you always put walls up. You put those walls up to protect yourself, and then you have to run the show. Well, if you always have to be right, you always have to run the show, and it always has to be your way, that's exhausting. That's really exhausting. You're not going to be able to maintain that. And so it's tough, man. And yet neither should be dominant. Well, I like to be dominant behind closed doors. Nobody, you didn't laugh at that. So I don't know if you got that joke. So, but there's times where someone should take the lead for sure, right? And what I would say for both you, Aaron, and American Russian is look at things, let go of the past, right? Here's the thing. This is what I love about some of the sayings and some of the movies we have. So has anybody, I don't know if you've seen the movie Hook with Robin Williams, because I use this as the greatest example. Anyway, the movie Hook, Robin Williams stars in it, and he's an adult version of Peter Pan now. He used to be Peter Pan, fell in love, had a family, and now he's an adult. Well, now he's no longer looking at the world as fun, right? He's got responsibilities adding up. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to have fun. How many adults can understand that? Where when you were a kid and you had no responsibility, life was easy, and it was easy to let go of man, Live doesn't want us on here. They keep giving us every reason to get off. Where you could let go of the problems when you were a kid. It was easy to just let it go and move forward. But as you became an adult, it wasn't so easy to let it go. And the things that happened to you as a kid, all of a sudden, it's like, ooh, I got to deal with this now. And the stresses of life keeps adding up, and you don't know how to just look at the world with a childlike eyes and let go of your past. You have to let go and forgive. So both of you and anybody else, I talked about it also like 2 podcasts ago. Forgive. Forgive for yourself, not for them. You have to learn forgiveness. The next step is empathy. That takes time, but forgiveness. Because now when you can look past that, get over it, let it go, because hanging on to it isn't going to help you avoid it in the next relationship. If anything, it's going to make you go into it even worse. Because if I say don't do something and you say, yeah, I'm not, don't do it, you're going to do it. If I say don't scratch your nose, right? You're eventually going to do it because you're thinking about scratching your nose. So it's all on how you can play tricks on your own mind. So you should let it go. Let the past be the past, right? Forgive that person so you can properly let it go. And then understand that the next relationship you're going to get into, they're not the ones cutting you. They're not the ones causing the pain. The pain was already there. Someone already hurt you. They're not the one hurting you. They're just running into a scar that they may not have known was already there. Right? And it's on you to communicate now. If they don't listen to that, if they don't respect what you're saying, if they can't learn to be better, then that's not a relationship for you. And that's how it really works. That's how this shit works. If I treated my current wife this based off of what my ex-wife did, oh my God. And sometimes I got to catch myself. I can't treat people in my life like the people did in my childhood because I'm not there anymore. I have to look at the world with childlike eyes and understand that I'm smarter. I'm not naive, right? I'm not going to fall for the okie dokes. I'm going to see it when it comes. And I can't stress about it until it comes. I can't worry about it until it comes. It may never come. So what is the point of stressing about what someone might do to me? Feel me? That's how you start to win in the relationship. There it is. Boom. I feel you. All you could do is make sure that you're raising your daughters be honest with them. But be honest with them both positively and negatively, right? I was very honest with my daughter, but I didn't want to paint the picture as there's tons of messed up men. I just made sure to lead by example. One, I had to lead by example. If I wanted my daughters to pick a good man, I had to be a good man. So that means if I got upset with her and I raised my voice, I had to come back to the table. Yo, I'm sorry. No, Dad, it's okay. I understand. Like, no. That's not good. That's not okay for me to raise my voice. I shouldn't have raised my voice at you. That was wrong. I had every right to be upset. How I conduct myself is another story. I shouldn't have raised my voice at you. You didn't deserve that. My bad. Because I'm setting the tone. Because I don't want her to think it's okay for some man to raise his voice at her. So I got to set that tone, right? So that's and if you live in fear of what your daughters might choose, you're going to end up pushing them to that. Don't live in fear. You got to make the decision. If you got a good man in your life, right? Whether it's their father or just a good man, they're going to see that. They're also going to see how you respond to that. Then you can have some candid conversations. Yeah, so man, you're not lying. But again, I was on it like I was just a buck with my daughter. It was like, look, at the end of the day, know when a guy's interacting with you, especially in this age bracket, and I would give her the age bracket, they could like you, but everything in them still wants this, still wants sex, still wants this. They could be the nicest of guys. It's biologically ticking with us. We want this. So you have to be mindful of how you move, right? Be mindful of how you carry yourself. Be mindful not to let people perceive you in a certain way. Now, I know everybody on social media and in the world are like, no, she should be able to dress what she wears, wear what she wants, talk how she would. No, she cannot. It doesn't make sense. Because biology is still biology. I don't care about society's rules. We as humans have not evolved so much. If a woman walks by and she's wearing some nice shorts and she's got a nice booty, every dude's gonna look. That's not on her. She doesn't deserve any negativity from that, but every guy's gonna look. Now, grown men will carry themselves a certain way, right? Notice I said grown men. But boys, nah, you're putting a lot of pressure on boys, and you're putting pressure on boys across the board to behave themselves. Nah, I ain't doing that. So we're gonna have this conversation, and I'm not gonna push you out there dating everybody and just think it's okay. No. And I was honest when it came to sex. Like, I'm not telling you to wait to marriage, but just don't, like, this is the most precious thing you can give to somebody, right? Every man wants it. Every straight man wants it. Let me say that. So don't just give it out there. And it worked. So she's had the same boyfriend for 4 or 5 years. It is what it is. So will it always be that way? I don't know. But I don't live in fear. And I made sure to boost my daughter up. You're smart. You're intelligent. Like, when you choose to be with someone, that's a want, not a need. You don't need it. You don't need him. You're going to want him. You're going to need things that he does, but make sure you want that man. You don't need that man. The only man you need right now is your dad. That's it. And one day you won't need me. You're going to want me in your life. Right? And that's a different thing. So raising daughters can be scary, but you just got to be honest with them. Be honest about your own mistakes. I was honest about my mistakes. I was honest about my mistakes, the things I did right, the things I did wrong. Same thing with my son. I'm honest about it. Like, I'm not going to hide it. Doesn't make sense. Got to be honest. And so, and then don't let them live their lives on social media. They could be on it, but don't let them live their whole lives on it. So if you want to win as a parent, what are your goals? I know when I was younger and I heard Chris Rock say, my goal was to keep my daughter off the pole. I was like, that's a good goal right there. I have nothing against strippers. I just, no parent is like, yep, I want my daughter to be a stripper. I want my son to be a stripper. Nobody says that. Nobody comes out the gate like that. If that ends up happening, it ends up happening. But I don't see anybody doing it. I don't see anyone saying, yeah, my goal is to have my daughter being a stripper. I mean, OnlyFans making more than nurses and surgeons is nuts. No wonder women are distracted. Hey, it is what it is, man. Like, I'm not going to fight the system. System is what it is. But if I don't want, again, it's just being honest. Is having that conversation, right? It's making sure that your daughter knows that her value is more than just what she brings with her body. It may be the, see, and here's a trick. Men value that, right? But a woman has to know within herself that she is more valuable than that. And that is the key. It's respect yourself so everything is gravy. And that's how you win in life, how you win as a parent, how you win in a relationship. So it's like, I taught my daughter off the jump to respect herself. She's smart. It's like, but I preach that all the time. Every day almost. You're intelligent, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're loving, you're caring. You don't need a man. The only man you need right now is me. But one day you're not going to need me. When you are with a man, want him. Make sure you want him. You do not need him, but want him. Treat him with respect. Respect yourself. And there were times I've had to check my daughter when it comes to her boyfriend. Like she would get a little rowdy. I'm like, hey, come here. Don't talk to him like that. You were raised better than that. Don't do that. Don't act like some rap video thing. No. We're not doing that. Because if he did that to you, I'd pop him in his mouth. So don't you do that to him. There was no bucking, no argument. She stopped it. So sometimes when you see somebody being influenced, you got to bring those reins back in. I'm a strong influence on my daughter's life. So exactly. Yeah. So Michael says we have to show our daughters what they need to look for in a man, be the prime example. Exactly. And the same thing with our sons. We got to show them what it like when I have my son do certain chores with me. He's like, why do I have to do this? Why do I even need to know how to do this? So you can one day teach your son and be able to do this in your household. I built a workbench for my wife, right? And I had my son help me. He was like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, no, you're going to learn how to drill. You're going to learn how to measure. You're going to learn how to cut. You're going to learn how to do all this because one day you might have to do this. And you should at least know how to do this stuff. I don't like necessarily doing it, but I know how to do it. I don't like to change a tire. I better know how to do it. I don't like changing the oil. I better know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that you should know how to do. Whether you want to do it or not is another story. Know how to do it. And to me, that's me teaching my son responsibility. So you got to teach him. You got to decide what winning is. When you get in a relationship, what are you trying to win? Where are you trying to go? Do your goals align? Do your values align? And I know that's what Charlie was talking about earlier, as far as being spiritual. I do not want to dominate my wife. I do not want my wife to dominate me. I want us to work together, and depending on what we're doing, one of us is going to take the lead. If I ask my wife to let's go out on a date and let's go here, here, and here, I chose that. But if I want to take my wife on a date and I'm like, hey, you have a taste for anything? I can't get mad when she tells me what it is. Like, we are really knowing our roles. Like I said, I do the dishes. She does most of the cooking. Roles. We know what each other likes to do, what we don't like to do. Keep it simple. Simple and stupid. I want to win every day of my life. I want to wake up and Corey, I talked about this on your podcast. If you haven't had a chance to check out the Black Currency podcast, make sure you check that out. And I was going to ask you, when y'all got more episodes coming?
Probably in another month.
Cool. But check that out. And not even just check out my episode, just check out all the episodes. But my episode on there, I know I talked about, I wake up trying to win. I wake up, I do the dishes. I'm journaling. I'm walking the dog. I'm doing, like, I got a system set up. So my day starts out with anywhere from 3 to 5 wins right off the bat before I even get to work. Bing, 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 boom. Let's go. Same thing in my relationship. I want to win. Whatever that takes. So an hour and 20 minutes, man, we're doing the damn thing. Exactly. Yes, we need to express everything because no one can read minds. It's just how we express it. Here's the thing. Sometimes people don't know how to express it, and one person does, and we need to teach. My wife didn't know how to express her emotions all the time. She's got 5 sisters. Her mom and dad were divorced. So, and she's never been married before. All this stuff, I understand. So it was imperative for me to speak up in a way, and then I even had to learn how to communicate with her. It was like I had to talk about feelings I couldn't come at it from a logical place. I can't say, hey, don't talk at me like that. I don't like that. Don't speak to, because now it's putting her on the defensive. So I had to study and read some books, and I've talked about that before. It was like, when I'm spoken to like this, it make like, you know what I'm saying? It's just learning how to communicate for yourself. And I believe Aaron said it. Aaron talked about emotional intelligence. Yeah. As a man, having emotional intelligence is by far one of the most important things you can have as a man, because you will make that woman feel safe because of how you communicate. And when we go all the way back to the beginning, that woman will more than likely find a way to be intimate with you if she feels safe emotionally. If she feels like she could lose her stuff and you're going to keep it cool, oh yeah, you're going to be straight. So, but on the flip side, man, that's powerful right there, Michael. I had to show my daughter how to express. At one point, she didn't want to go back with her mom. Yeah, that's tough, man. We must also provide a safe space for, we got to, OnlyFacts, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. So when the thing is that I think women are starting to learn now is that you also have to provide a safe space for men as well. So I know men always talk about men shouldn't be emotional, shouldn't talk about this. Our previous men didn't. It was harder to live as a man back then, as in a relationship, right? We had less technology. We were always at war, right? There was less to be expected of us. The standards were lower. So now, and I believe there was less ways to communicate. So if a man left for work, right, early in the morning, he wouldn't come home until later in the day, eat dinner and chill, and then go to bed and do it again. Well, now you have text, you have Snap, IG, you have different ways to communicate with your significant other throughout the day. So, and your wife is going to talk to you more about her stuff. So in order to have that communication, you got to be emotionally intelligent. And both people have to provide a safe space. I told her she could stay with me, but she had to tell her mom why and what she is feeling. Exactly. That's powerful right there, Michael, because she's learning how to communicate like an adult. And that's the big thing. Like, for some reason, we don't push people to communicate like an adult anymore. Everybody's just free to express themselves and free to be upset about. And yeah, you can be upset, but like, how you speak matters. Have a conversation where you both disagree and nobody's flipping out. Nobody's disrespecting the other person. That's conversational. That sounds like two adults having the conversation. Like, I could talk to Corey about how I don't like Nas, and he could talk about how he doesn't like Jay-Z. We can have a full disagreement about it, but neither one of us are going to walk away hating each other or being disrespectful. That was funny, Corey. So, man, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all support. This Thursday, I will not be on. I am doing community work with one of the schools, my hip hop project. So I won't be on this Thursday. So you can check me next Monday. We good for next Monday?
Yep.
At 10:30 Central.
Yep.
So that's AM. If you got things you want to talk about, DM me, message me, whatever the case may be. I thank y'all all for tuning in. Thank y'all all for commenting. Those of you on Facebook and YouTube, I appreciate y'all too. Man, just keep tuning in. Let's keep growing this thing. And let's keep talking. Corey, I locked in an interview whenever we set a date with this dude who creates some dope what if videos for Star Wars. So like, I'm excited. I get to be a nerd and talk about some things on that one. But so they're not all powerful people or all inspirational, motivational people. There's some nerds in there that just do Star Wars what if videos. So I have some ideas what I'm gonna talk about next week, but I'm open for it. So shoot me some thoughts. Again, thank you so much. Make sure you follow, like. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Let's keep getting it. Peace.